All right, let's dive straight into this explainer and unpack the invisible forces powering, well, pretty much everything around us. As your resident physics enthusiast, I am absolutely thrilled to guide you through today's whiteboard session. We're looking at a phenomenon that is just so ubiquitous, we honestly take it completely for granted. I'm talking about alternating current, or AC. It is literally the silent heartbeat of the modern world, making everything from your kitchen refrigerator to high-speed trains function. But have you ever actually stopped to wonder why the electricity supplied to our homes doesn't just flow in a simple, straight line? In many parts of the world, like the UK, India, and Australia, the current coming out of your wall outlet actually reverses its direction 100 times every single second. I mean, why go through all that trouble instead of just sending a steady stream of power? Well, here is our lesson plan for today's session as we demystify the incredible physics of alternating current. We'll hit AC versus DC basics, the war of currents, the physics of the waveform, the math behind AC, powering the modern world, and busting common AC myths. Okay, section 1, AC versus DC, the basics, let's say the groundwork. Imagine water flowing through a pipe. In direct current, or DC, which is what you'd get from a standard battery, the water always flows steadily in one direction. It's super simple, and it's great for your electronics. But in alternating current, the water repeatedly sloshes forward and backward through the circuit. Not only does the direction change periodically, but its magnitude continuously varies too. And this brilliantly illustrates how AC transmits energy over long distances so efficiently. That back and forth motion, usually in the form of a sine wave, allows us to easily step the voltage up or down using transformers, which is a massive, absolute game changer when you're moving power across an entire country. Moving right along to section 2, the war of currents. Let's briefly step back in time. Back in the late 1800s, there was this intense rivalry known as the War of Currents. On one side, you had Thomas Edison fiercely promoting direct current. Now, DC was great for short distances, sure, but it suffered massive energy losses over long transmission lines. On the opposing side, you had Nikola Tesla and George Westinghouse championing alternating current. Tesla had developed these highly practical AC generators and motors, and ultimately, AC won out. Why? Because transformers made it incredibly easy to step up the voltage for miles of travel without losing much power and then safely step it back down for households. This was spectacularly proven in 1895 at the massive Niagara Falls hydroelectric project, which basically cemented AC as the worldwide standard. Section 3, Physics of the Waveform. Let's look at how we actually make this stuff. Time to step into the laboratory. Imagine an AC generator, otherwise known as an alternator. You take a coil of wire and rotate it inside a magnetic field. Maybe you use a turbine powered by wind, steam, or water. As that coil spins, the amount of magnetic field passing through it, known as the magnetic flux, changes continuously. And according to Faraday's law of induction, this changing flux induces an electromotive force, or voltage. The voltage rises to a maximum, falls back to zero, and as the coil completes its half rotation, the direction of the induced voltage actually reverses, becoming negative. This continuous rhythmic reversal is exactly what creates alternating current. If that sounds a bit abstract, just think of a kid on a playground swing. The swing moves forward, hits a peak where it slows down and stops briefly, then accelerates backwards, stops again, and repeats the whole cycle. This is a perfect analogy for our AC waveform. The voltage doesn't just jump instantly from positive to negative, it moves smoothly, producing a beautifully clean sinusoidal wave. This smooth wave is highly efficient, drastically reduces heating losses, and is just the natural output of a rotating machine. All right, section 4, the math behind AC. Let's head to the chalkboard. Now, because AC voltage is constantly rising, falling, and reversing, we can't just use a single static number to describe it easily. I mean, if we took the true mathematical average over a full cycle, it would literally be 0, right? Because the positive and negative halves perfectly cancel each other out. So engineers use something called root mean square, or RMS. The RMS value is essentially the equivalent DC voltage that would produce the exact same heating effect in a resistor. It's the standard way we measure and quote AC voltage. And the math behind that RMS value is actually quite elegant. To find the RMS voltage, you just take the absolute peak voltage, often written as Vm, and divide it by the square root of 2. Or more simply, you multiply the peak voltage by 0.707. That means your effective RMS voltage is always roughly 70% of the absolute maximum voltage peak reached during that swinging cycle. So let's apply this to your own house. If you live in a region where your home is rated for a 230-volt AC supply, like in the UK or India, that 230 volts is the RMS value. If we work the math backward and multiply 230 by 1.414, we find the peak voltage. This means the instantaneous voltage in your wall outlet actually swings all the way up to a staggering 325 volts, drops to zero, plummets to negative 325 volts, and comes back 50 times every single second. And why do we care so much about these RMS values? Because they allow us to calculate power. For a purely resistive load, like a simple electric space heater, we can just use the formula P equals V times I. We multiply that RMS voltage by the RMS current to find out exactly how much real power in watts our appliances are consuming. If a heater draws 5 amps on a 230 volt supply, it is consuming 1150 watts of power to keep you warm. Simple as that. Section 5, Powering the Modern World. Let's step out of the classroom for a second. Because the voltage is so easily manipulated by transformers, AC is the undisputed backbone of our global infrastructure. It's the electricity powering your ceiling fans and microwaves. It's stepped up to hundreds of kilovolts to travel safely across massive national power grids with very minimal energy loss. It runs those rugged, reliable induction motors in factories that power conveyor belts and heavy cranes. It drives electric trains, and it is the vital lifeblood for critical healthcare equipment like MRI machines and hospital ventilators. Honestly, without AC, our modern interconnected world just wouldn't function on this scale. Finally, Section 6, Busting Common AC Myths. Before the bell rings, we need to clear up some widespread misconceptions. A lot of beginners assume that when they turn on a light switch, electrons literally shoot out of a power plant miles away, travel down the transmission lines, and physically jump into their television or light bulb. In reality, it doesn't work like that at all. Those electrons in your household wiring are just oscillating. They just jiggle back and forth locally within the wire, over extremely microscopic distances. What is actually traveling at near light speed across the power grid is the electrical energy, and it's being carried by the electromagnetic field surrounding the wires. The electrons are just the medium, getting pushed and pulled by the AC wave. Another major myth is that one type of current is universally superior to the other. Some folks think DC is completely obsolete, or conversely that because we live in a modern electronic-heavy world, DC has finally won the war. The truth is, neither is universally better. They just have highly specialized jobs. AC is the undisputed king of high-voltage transmission and heavy industrial distribution. But DC is absolutely essential for storing energy in batteries, running the delicate internal circuitry of your laptop, and powering LED lighting. That is exactly why your laptop or phone charger has that bulky little block on it. It's a rectifier, actively converting the wall's AC wave into the smooth DC line your battery needs. So, we've covered the history, the mechanics, the math, and the massive societal impact of this incredible phenomenon. Now that you understand the invisible, pulsing mechanics behind the outlet, I really hope you see the everyday world in an entirely new, electrifying light. Next time you plug in your phone or switch on a fan, will you picture that invisible 50 Hz wave swinging back and forth, doing all the heavy lifting? Keep asking questions, keep visualizing the physics all around you, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.